James Harden, gone. Vamos. See you later. Traded to the LA Clippers for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, and KJ Martin are what the Sixers get in return for James Harden, as well as a 2026 first round pick, a 28 first round pick, a first round pick swap, and 2 second round picks. It's a lot of stuff. And they give up James Harden, PJ Tucker, and is it Philip? Is it Philip or Philippe? Is it Philip?
I don't know.
Petrusev? I've never heard of this person.
Petrusov, yeah.
I have no idea. Steve, you are obviously our resident Sixers fan. I'm sure you have some feelings one way or the other about this. Just real quick before we get into it, what are your just general first reaction thoughts to this trade? Or what
we got hosed. James Harden is not the James Harden that was in Houston, not even close.
No.
So I will say, at least I'm happy with the quantity of things that we got for him. It's not quality, and I understand that. 2 of those guys are going to see the court, probably. Maybe 3, but probably 2. It was a bad move, but it needed to happen. It was necessary.
Yeah. The James Harden had to get out. There's a lot to dissect here. I want to start on the Clipper side of things, then we can move on to the Sixers side of things. This team's not going to be good. This team isn't going to work. It's not going to be what people think it is. And the LA Clippers are delusional or in denial if, like, they traded away essentially their entire future for James Harden. And I've been hearing a lot of, this is a big 4, and this is the push that they needed to get to that next step. And that's just not, like, I don't understand where people are getting that logic from. So let's break it down a little bit. First of all, your best player is Kawhi Leonard. You cannot trust him. Your second best player is Paul George. You cannot trust him. Your third best player is now James Harden, who the role he's going to play is not the role he is going to want. He wanted out of Philadelphia to be a ball handler, to score 30 and 10 and be the guy. That's not going to work with the Clippers with what they currently have and what they're going to need him to do. What they want him to do is play make, be the point guard. He's not going to do that. No. Russell Westbrook, who after leaving the Lakers had seemingly been playing he was starting to come around a little bit. Like, he still wasn't good, but he was adapting better, fitting into that role. That's going to be gone now. He's not, because where Russell Westbrook thrives is give him the ball with a bunch of other nobodies out there, and he'll kind of figure it out with the rest. That's where he was great in Oklahoma City. He came to the Lakers where there was none of that, and he collapsed. If the problem for the Sixers or for the Clippers was getting over the hump to win a championship, this did not fix any of that. This didn't change anything to me. I think this is it had to be done, like you said, but I think it's a bad trade from all sides. But Steve, what do you think about it from the Clippers end?
Yeah, from the Clippers end, I think it was more of a desperation move. They're coming into the back years of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. It's their last shot at trying to show their fans that this was a good idea to bring Paul George in. I remember when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard got to the Clippers, they were God's gift. I mean, they talked about that Clippers team like it was never going to lose. They were the favorites to win the West.
Yeah.
And because they're both so injury prone, it just never worked. Now you're adding a third guy who can't stay on the court and disappears in big moments, Paul George as well. So it's like, I think it was a last minute desperation. Like, if this doesn't work, we don't have it. And they went and they got James Harden for a bunch of stuff they were going to offload anyways in a season or 2.
Yeah.
Your analysis is dead on, because I think James Harden's going to get upset in LA because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are going to get the majority of the shots. And if James Harden starts taking some of those opportunities, well, they're going to get upset. I just don't see a mesh.
And if, like I said, if the goal is we need to reload, we need some more to get to the finals, James Harden is going to be that guy. Like, the all-time playoff choker, James Harden, is who you're bringing in to make it. Like, it makes no sense to me. And if it's an insurance policy of, well, what if Kawhi and or Paul George go down, that team with James Harden and Westbrook, and last time they played together, They didn't like each other. They both were mad at one another and left Houston. All this talk about the Clippers all of a sudden being the contenders.
No.
So now let's look at it from the Philadelphia side. My number one Philadelphia note I have here is just the Sixers are done. They're done. Congratulations, you're once again going to be a second round exit, unless
Thanks.
this is the only thing I can think of that could change that outcome. Unless Daryl Morey loaded up on, like, if you get rid of one or two of those players and a couple of those picks and get another top guy like to pair with Embiid, maybe. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But now next summer, maybe then you start wheeling and dealing. But for this season right now, you're toast. You're just toast. Because not only do you not have the firepower, because you and I are not Maxey believers that he's going to be good enough to be the second best player on a contender.
Don't get me started with him.
And now Embiid is in a position of he waited years for the process, was the face of it, was really bought into the listen, Philadelphia, I'm here to build with you. We're going to get through this. They get through it. But how? Like, do they really? He's now back to square one where it's like, hey, man, you kind of just got to wait it out until we get some more things figured out, which he's already been through. How much of that is Embiid going to take until he's like, man, I got to start winning? Because Embiid, to me, is a drama queen, and he's a little bit of a baby. So I think after going through all this once, he's not going to want to go through all of it again. And even if he does, I don't think he's going to do it willingly or like openly. The Sixers, they just don't have enough in the tank, and I don't think there's much they can do right now, especially to change Embiid's emotional state.
Daryl Morey has come into this franchise and just obliterated it. We are not a franchise that is sustainable success, that has sustainable success. Joel Embiid, he's going to walk in less than 2 years. Any Sixers fan that wants to tell me I'm wrong, call in, comment, argue with me. Joel Embiid is not going to be on this team because of what Cam just said. The Sixers are done. We're done for the next 10 years. I don't care what anyone tells me. There's not a championship in sight for 10 years.
10 years.
Think about it. How long did it take after Allen Iverson for us to get somebody who was who was a formidable franchise piece? 10 years. Longer than 10 years. If I'm Embiid, I'm abandoning ship. I'm abandoning ship when my stock is high. I'm abandoning ship to the team that I think is going to be the best fit for me to contend, if that's New York, if that's wherever he ends. But the Sixers, this trade, all it showed me is we're about to go into full rebuild.
Here's the thing, and maybe you know the answer to this. I don't know the relationship between Embiid and Daryl Morey, but I would say this whole like what you're saying about, man, the next 10 years are going to be bleak and that's all going to be in Daryl Morey. I just bring Embiid in and say, listen, like just him and say, listen, Harden's gone. We got these pieces. I have a plan. Like if Morey can if there's a plan, if Morey can let Embiid in on what's going on and just say,
probably already has.
I know it's been a long time, but like, trust me. And it's just going to depend on Embiid's emotional maturity if he can do that. And like I said, if Morey really has a plan, because Embiid is the only player you guys have under contract going into this offseason. So you'll have money. And like I said, now you have these assets, and some of these picks are really good. Like these Clippers picks are valuable. So it just depends on what Morey can do. I said earlier, you and I are not buying in on the Maxey's going to be an all-star future MVP. This whole thing, like people are buying in heavy, and the Sixers are clearly buying it heavy on him too. By like, because he's the number 2 guy now. They're like, it's Embiid and Maxey. They're like, if Morey comes out and says, "Nah, we got Embiid and Maxey," done. You're absolutely finished. But here's the other thing, Steven. This will make you even more mad. I wish I would have saved it. I saw an MVP ladder, which, first of all, why are we making MVP ladders?
Tell me that Tyrese Maxey is on it.
He was like 6. He was top 8.
bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Is a good player, but he's not even top 3 in his class.
James Harden is now a Clipper, and the Sixers are done.
Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.